It was just past 7:30 a.m. when Officer Daniel Reyes parked his cruiser beside a quiet intersection in the east end of town. It was his usual patrol route. Nothing ever happened here. A sleepy neighborhood of small houses, overgrown lawns, and kids who walked to school in packs. He sipped his coffee, flipping through the reports from the night shift when he spotted movement in his side mirror. A small figure running, a little girl no older than 8 or 9, barefoot, wearing mismatched pajamas, sprinting down the street with wild hair and panic in her eyes. She came straight to his car and slammed, her tiny hands on the window. "Please, you have to come. Please follow me. Something's wrong at my house." Daniel didn't hesitate. He opened the door and jumped out. "Slow down. What's your name?" "Tasha," she said, gasping for air. "Please come now. It's Mommy. Something happened to Mommy." "Okay, Tasha. Get in the car." "Show me." "Where?" She climbed into the front seat without a word. Her hands trembled in her lap. Daniel's heart raced. He'd seen kids cry before, runaways, even kids trying to protect bad parents. But this felt different. Her fear wasn't general, it was specific, urgent, real. They pulled up to a rundown blue house just a few blocks away. The front door was open, swinging slightly in the morning breeze. He stepped out cautiously, motioning for Tasha to stay in the car. He approached the door, hand on his holster, not knowing what to expect. Inside, the house was silent. Then he heard it. A low whimper, like someone trying not to cry. He moved through the living room, cluttered, lived in, but not chaotic. In the back hallway, near the kitchen, he found her, a woman, mid-30s, curled up on the floor, one arm clutched around her stomach. She was conscious, but barely. Her face was pale, covered in sweat. She looked up at him, and her lips moved. Without sound. Then finally, Tasha ... She found help ... Daniel called for backup and an ambulance, staying with the woman until paramedics arrived. She was rushed to the hospital, diagnosed with a ruptured appendix. Minutes, maybe even seconds away from going into septic shock. Tasha's decision to run for help had saved her mother's life, but that wasn't the end. While Child Services took temporary custody of Tasha for the day, Daniel couldn't get her off his mind. Her bravery, her presence of mind, but more than anything, her loneliness. He stayed with her at the hospital waiting room while her mother underwent emergency surgery. "Do you have any family nearby?" he asked gently. Tasha shook her head. "It's just us. Mommy lost her job last month. She's been really tired." Daniel didn't know what to say, so he sat with her for hours, until a nurse came out smiling and said, "She's going to be okay." Tasha burst into tears, burying her face in Daniel's shirt. He let her cry. That night when his shift ended, Daniel went home to his small apartment. He stood in the kitchen, heating leftover pasta, but something in him had shifted. He thought about how close the call had been. How many people would have ignored a child running barefoot through the street? How many would have dismissed it as a prank or drama? Over the next few days, he kept checking in, visiting the hospital, dropping off books for Tasha, offering to help with groceries once her mother was discharged. At first, the mother, whose name was Dina, was wary. Life had taught her not to trust easily. But slowly, she saw he wasn't just a cop. He cared. She told him everything, about the job she lost, the nights she went without food so Tasha could eat, the shame of applying for food stamps, the fear that if she asked for help, they'd take her daughter away. "I didn't know I was that sick," she said, eyes filled with guilt. "If Tasha hadn't, she did," Daniel said gently. "And that means you raised a very brave girl." Soon, the department began talking about the story. News stations got wind of it. A local reporter interviewed Daniel. Then they spoke with Dinah and Tasha. What started as a routine patrol became a community-wide moment of awareness. A charity reached out to help Dana find work. A local clinic offered her a healthcare plan. Donations came in for food, clothes, even school supplies for Tasha. And through it all, Daniel stayed close. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. One evening, months later, Dina invited him for dinner. The house looked different now, cleaner, brighter, more alive. Tasha set the table, humming to herself. There was laughter. Music playing softly. A sense of normal. After dinner, Tasha ran up to Daniel with a drawing. Crayon and marker lines all over the page. A stick figure cop, holding hands with a smaller girl. Above them, a heart. He looked at it, then at her. What's this? It's us, she said. Because you didn't leave. Daniel smiled, a rare, soft smile that reached his eyes. I'm glad I didn't. By the time the story faded, from headlines, something else had taken root. A quiet bond. A new kind of family. Not by blood, but by love. By circumstance. By choice. And if you ask Daniel now what made him stop that morning, what made him believe the barefoot girl running through the streets, he'll say, sometimes the most important calls aren't the ones that come through the radio. They come from the heart of a little girl who refuses to give up. And that's why we must always listen. Because some heroes don't wear capes or badges. Some heroes run barefoot in pajamas, begging the world to care. And when the world finally does, it changes everything.